So, Creator Series Canada then. There was definitely a good chunk of clips to get from that. Not the most interesting race, I don't think, from most people's point of view, but I've still managed to find 30 different clips for us to look at today, and let's get into it. This is a really wholesome moment here with Tom. It was Tom's actual birthday, and this is what they all did for him. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tom, for the other day. Happy birthday to you. Huge. Absolutely huge. Fun fact for you, there's a literal pool of puddle under Tom's rig when he's done with the Creator Series race. I'm not joking.
I have to show you this. We just did a Creator Series race, 70 laps at Canada. And this
Look at that.
is what is below my simulator. I think it's the water. No, it's wet. It's wet. What the flip is this? Oh my goodness.
Unbelievable. Actual puddle of sweat. No exaggeration. Right, next up then, we got Scotty bidding it in the wall. I actually don't really know how Scotty did this. I have not really seen a crash like this. When he goes to the Wall of Champions, it's not that rare, but look. I don't really understand it. No traction control, no OBS. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird. I don't know why I understood so much. Possibly a setup thing, I guess, but I don't know. Strange crash, but yeah, the wall was waiting for him, unfortunately. This is Guats just barely squeezing past him as he does it. This was very 2 starter laps. It didn't really affect him too badly, but look at this gap. Eek! It's tighter than it looks because there's wings missing. This is extremely tight. He was a couple of millimeters there from having quite a big crash. And he lifts, but not extremely so, look. Half lift, full lift, tiny brake, and then back on the throttle. Good man. That's what you like to see. And this is, so this is Maraki's pole lap. Yesterday actually started that very slowly because he's getting out of people's way. Just looking for here, right on the track limit here. Yeah, look at that. That's nice. Nice. Oh, hitting to the wall on the exit as well, which seemed to help him. Allow him to carry a bit more speed. Hello, a bit of wall riding, is it, Maraki? Again, it's not perfect, is it? He's not nailing all the apexes. It's a solid lap, don't get me wrong. So I don't know if it's just a skill issue for me or if it's possibly something different, like a setup or something, because this doesn't look like as good a lap as I was expecting to be half a second up on my lap, which was all right. That was nice, though. That was really nice. He nailed that. Little kissies there for Jake. Yeah, okay. Solid lap all round that. 13-1. About half a second up on what I did in the end. So good lap, Jake. Nice. So that was a point for him for Inter's pole. Then we've got actual pole. No point for this, of course, but this will be a more exciting one to watch for sure. On the right tyres. Oh, wowzers. That's an early... I've got to see that one again. That's an early turn-in. Look how much steering correction he had to do. About 4 different turn-ins there. Down to the penultimate chicane. Yeah, nice. You can take more curb than that, but it does unsettle the car a little bit, so it is setup dependent. But that amount of curb he took there, the car doesn't really bounce at all. Little bit of a lock up there, tiny bit deep. Oh, that's so early on the throttle, though. My word. That's where he's gaining on me in quali. I can tell you that for nothing. Second gear, like halfway around the corner. Look at the amount of steering lock he's got, and he's getting back on the throttle. Half around the corner, he's at half throttle already. And then now we can finally see the exit, so he starts increasing the throttle up to 3/4 throttle at this point in second gear. That's impressive. That is really impressive. Yeah, not taking too much curb, just a solid lap.
Oh, not ideal. What is it, though?
That's enough for pole, GB. 109.0.
Come on, that's much better. That is much, much better.
There you go. You see, he's buzzing with it. So good lap, GB. He gets pole position, but of course, no point for that in Creator Series. Then we've got the race start. So let's start up with Ben, shall we? Let's start up with Ben. I think he's the furthest up guy we've got. Now, Ben starts absolutely horrific at the moment. This is a lesson in what not to do on the starts. Look at his throttle input. So quite high on the revs, a little bit higher than would be ideal, but not disastrously bad. But so quite a lot of throttle. But look what happens the second the lights go out. Look at his throttle inputs. The very split second that he drops the clutch. Look at the throttle inputs. Boom, straight up to 3/4 throttle. All the wheel spin in the world. So much wheel spin.
Such a long...
He gets away with it in this game because this game's quite forgiving over the limit of the tyre, but that is a lot of wheel spin. You see the better start that Karim had. What Ben did was too much throttle. What Hayden does is too little throttle. Revs a little bit on the low side, 9,000 RPM. Throttle not that much slower, but he does what Ben should do in holds the throttle when the lights go out. There, but the revs are just too low, and they drop to anti-stall pretty much, and then he has to stand on the throttle to get it back up. And still a better start than Ben, I would say, but not by much. Somewhere in between what Ben and Hayden do is probably the optimal start. Let's watch Fabio start. Let's see if he gets to start better. Slightly higher revs than Hayden, but just increase the throttle. Yeah, too much wheel spin, but not as bad as Ben, because he just delayed that initial throttle just a little bit more. So 2 starts immediately off the start. And again, just look how tidy this is. And then eventually gets the move done. A little bit of a squeeze there, but it's still good. All gets moved on grid jokes. And settles in P10. So again, beautifully clean start from everybody. It was beautiful to see. But then, just a few quarters later, we have this, which is less clean.
Oh, I'm sending it here, Nogueira. I'm sorry. You're on hearts. I'm sending it.
Uh-oh. Completely tired to go for it. Nogueira, he's right there. He's burning battery. He's on softs. Nogueira's on hards. Nogueira doesn't defend. Like, the safest end in the world here. But just brakes way too late. And honestly, from here, though, once he hits the brakes, from there, actually does really, really well to not cause a lot more drama than what he did. Even though the rear end's sliding, he's still turning right. He's still turning right because he knows if he corrects it, he's going to smash the Ben, get wing damage. There's no safety car, it's GG's. So actually, he's really smart there. He only hits Ben there with his side pod a little bit, which is we can't damage that with the damage settings we run. Just slightly nerves Ben a little bit, and that's it. Look, Nogueira's still going. It doesn't really affect anybody. He also gets going again off that because obviously if he stops here, he's going to be in everyone's way. But he sort of accelerates immediately. Genuinely. Pretty impressive skill there to not have the point that he braked be quite a big crash. Not the cleanest, but did well to recover it. So this happened to Guats. He has a wheel issue.
Oh, my wheel's gone.
Gonna be honest though, Guats, also a skill issue. Because what actually happens, his whole wheel doesn't actually die. If you look, when he reacts, there, he says wheel issue. But look at his throttle inputs. Throttle and brake inputs, still moving about. Look at his wheel inputs. Still moving about. He's still got complete control of the car. Guats forgot 101 of driving. Always retain control of the car. Your only issue at this point was lack of gear shifts, which obviously is an issue you need to resolve. Happy to accept that. But first of all, drive the car. Before trying to resolve that, drive the car first. Now this is me. No, it's more Kai than me. At this point, we're still wheel to wheel. There's still a red proximity arrow there. For some reason, though, Kai goes... Nah, that car doesn't exist. And okay, I'm barely alongside, but obviously I'm fighting for this position. Bro, what puts me in the wall? What's he doing? Just not necessary. All I can think there is he's either red proximity arrow has disappeared, or he's just trying to squeeze me to make me back out because he knows I've got the inside line for the next corner. Slows himself down? Yeah, probably. I don't think I would have been coming over like that. I think most drivers who I race against would have been coming over like that. Oh yeah, Scott having a whoopsie. Now this is quite interesting to me because this is actually, I don't know what setup Scott was running, but I ran a VSC setup but with 10 less clicks of wing, so quite a lot less wing. And in the end that hurt me. On worn rear tyres I was struggling like mad. But Scott here slides through turn 1 and then slides again here. That was partly caused by the curve and then goes all the way around.
Right, where's that, right?
It's not great. It just goes all the way around. I still absolutely love his camera shake though when he has an incident.
Oh my god.
Just makes it so dramatic. So round goes Scott. And then unfortunately next lap 8, Razin's game crashes.
What is going on?
RIP. Fair play to him. He carried on for a long time after that. But it just shafts him. You'll see why in a second. In fact, let's get that now, shall we? And then Greek Jokes here with Razin's AI. Quite desperate to get him here.
Get out of the way, AI.
Get out of the way, AI, he says. And it's just classic AI stuff, really, isn't it? And that absolutely shafts Razin's AI. Because if you look, when he disconnected, he was only about 5th or 6th. And he's only still 9th now. It's not too bad. If he can get back in soon, his race is still on. But unfortunately, Greek Jokes, he does nothing wrong. This is completely fine. If you just look in the mirror there, you can just about see that his AI decides to bail out of it there. And then just basically stops in the off track and just loses Razin just an unrecoverable amount of time. So really unfortunate, honestly. So this is Scotty's designs. Go for it on Guats up the inside. And gets a warning for it.
Appreciate that, Guats.
Definitely a bit squeezy, wasn't it? Definitely a bit squeezy. I don't think it's anything outrageously bad. Definitely deserved a bit more respect there, did Scotty's designs. Look, before they hit the brakes, he's alongside. That's the classic thing that a lot of you guys seem to think you need to be. He is. They hit the brakes. He slightly outbrakes him. He's there. He's coming. And he does make a small adjustment because normally you'd have your whole car on this curb, but clearly he's not let through. He's clearly not let through. Just a misjudgment. It is what it is. There's no malintent there. Malintent? Maliciousness? Just squeezes him and unfortunately gives him a warning.
Scotty's going for a move, boys. That is not what you want to see.
And this is me getting the first of my 3-second time penalties. Now, this is what I was talking about earlier. Who was it? It was Scott Taylor, wasn't it? I didn't feel like I'd brake massively late there, but I did carry a bit more speed than I realised into the braking zone, but clearly I did brake too late. And the car just slides. Ironically, I think this won me the race. I was already starting to struggle a little bit on the tyres. And this tells me that, okay, I did brake too late, but like the car just didn't stop. And look at it just sliding and sliding. And I was like, I'm in trouble here. These tyres are awful. I've got to do something different to these guys or I'm going to lose. And yeah, you can see I do try and avoid the 3 but I fail. So if you look, I think the game measures the gap before and after. So the gap there is half a second to Baraki. As we leave the track there, it's half a second. It's not perfect. It's actually based on the AI speed, not your rival speed. Obviously, I've got no idea what speed the AI would be going around that corner when I'm taking such a cut. So I'm here just trying to make sure I don't rejoin in front of Razin and I rejoin behind. And he goes. Now I rejoin. I'm behind him according to this. I thought I'd got it right, but no. I actually think this is a good example of how the F1 game could do with a revised penalty system that more factors in momentum and you know like a lot of games do now where they like process it and it takes it a few seconds to figure out if you actually gain an advantage or not. Because as I rejoin the track, sure, I'm a bit closer to Meraki than I was. Fine, that's pretty close. But with the momentum, look how much I lose.
Really, I was so slow there.
1.6 seconds. So clearly I gained nothing from that, which would never been a penalty in real life. So I think it'd be cool to them adjust the penalty system slightly, but I just misjudged it. Mistake into it. Mistake rejoining the track. And puts me down to P5, unfortunately. Now, I promised Krim I wouldn't show this, but here we are.
Oh no. Oh, for f***'s sake.
Hi, Krim. All on his own. Reigning champion. I think this is caused by racing line. Because look where it breaks. Where the racing line tells him to brake. And what happens? Flies off the track. Get the racing line out of here. No one wants to see it. You're a champion now, bro. Get it off. You don't need it. You don't need it. I tell you what, Karim, if you turn racing line off for the next race, I'll actually call you Karim 70 rather than Formula Karim. That's too late. Not as bad as Karim, though.
Oh my goodness.
Very similar to what Karim did. Unfortunately, we got another Punju skill issue. As much as you got a lovely setup, Punju, drive the car. It's not going to become my catchphrase. Drive the car. We've seen so many similar issues with Punju. It must just be his throttle inputs. That's all I could assume. What does Punju? I guess Punju does a lot of rallying, doesn't he? So I guess he's used to just flooring it on the exits. Can't do that in an F1 car, Punju. Right, we forgot. Oh yeah, this is Guats. So Guats, we saw his wheel issue earlier. That happens 3 more times. So he decides to bid it. There is a rule in Creator Series. You have to put it in the wall, even though safety car's switched off for this one, which he tries to do. But weirdly, the game says no. Look at this.
Hopefully I die from this. No, I didn't even die from it, bro.
How?
No, this.
300k into the wall. Just a wing. And then next time, what is wrong with Guats' car? First you had the Silverstone pit in where he just didn't get a penalty despite speeding into it because he had a little spin. And now he can't DNF.
Well, you're gonna
he does eventually, though, manage it. He finds a jut out bit of barrier there, puts his wheel into it.
There we go.
And then it's GG's and he's gone. Tom versus Kai. Hell yeah. Give this to me. So this was actually quite strange behaviour from Tom here. So Kai comes through. Kai's on better tyres at this point. But then Tom...
Let's go for the re-overtake.
Decides to go for the re-overtake. Despite having no battery, Tom, don't get me wrong, he's a content creator, he's trying to have fun. But he's normally quite a smart racer, though. Normally, if he should sit behind, he will sit behind. He'll go for the moves you expect him to go for. I think he caught Kai by surprise here. I didn't expect him to do this. And the fact he did do this allowed me to get out of DRS range. I know it's not all about results, it's about content. I've got no issue with it. But it was surprising.
Okay, bro. What are you doing? Oh my goodness. He doesn't know how to leave space, guys.
All right. There's more to it. Hold on.
You've lost some time to the car behind.
All right, as usual.
Gotta say, I do like Tom's reactions to this sort of stuff.
As usual.
Just laughs. Let's go and find Kai's POV of that. Okay, this is on. Was there a bit of moving in the brake in there from Tom? Not quite. I think Tom just does it before he hits the brakes, but that would have caught me off guard a little bit because it looks like Tom's not going to defend, so I don't expect him to be right on his racing line. I think it's about a metre further left of that, which I do think contributes to this slightly. Tom does nothing wrong. Does he let him go on purpose? Kind of. I think if he was wheel to wheel there, he kept going. I think that's all right, from both sides. Bit over aggressive from Kai, but I think it's fine. Very similar, and he just turns in. Look at that. Clearly no room given.
Bro, what are you doing? Oh,
again, Tom just laughs it off. Let's watch that from Kai's POV. Let's see how much room he gave on board with him, because there's always a bit of lag and stuff in these situations. Okay, so he sees him coming, burns the battery. It's almost an exact carbon copy. And in both times, you've got to say, if you had to blame somebody, it's got to be Kai. It's just like, there's a car there, bro. Like, where are you going? Leave some space. Oh, this is Fabio. So Fabio got bored on lap 38, just over halfway the race. Make my way downtown. That's what he's got in his ears, 100%. Oh, anyway, Fabio was done with his life at this point. He just starts drifting and then spins and then decides to kick it into reverse because he just can't be arsed anymore. He then decides to do some donuts, which I kept saying was very distracting. I didn't mind his Creator Series, but he's just doing some... By the way, he did these donuts for over a minute. Now, this is Hayden Gullis. We've had 2 races before this point. This was the 3rd race. In both of the previous 2 races, he'd been the cleanest driver, according to the game, which gives you a point now in Creator Series. So he's got 2 points just from being cleanest driver. But then on that 51 of the Canadian Grand Prix, what does he do? 3-second penalty.
No, I don't know who you mean.
Oh, Hayden, there we go. There we go.
Look how good he is. Look how good he is. So, RIP. He was celebrating those like wins, but they are no more. We'll see if we can get it sorted out on the next one. Now, this is an interesting one. Ben doesn't get fastest lap because he cuts a corner. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think previously, if you got a penalty, it disallowed your fastest lap. But if it was just a warning, it still gave it to you. I may be wrong. But if you look, he gets a warning, no penalty, and Ben then proceeds to do an 11.0, but doesn't get fastest lap. So, because he cut a corner, which is, let's be honest, that's a good thing. But I swear that's new. This one's called Ricky Spins. Should we just rename him that? It's not Ricky 03, it's Ricky Spins. It's his full name now. I cannot remember the last time that we had a weather transition without a safety car. Because as soon as this happens, someone always has a skill issue. And if safety cars weren't switched off, that probably would have been a safety car. Can you guys remember the last time we had a Creator Series race with a weather transition that didn't have a safety car? Almost always, it's getting spicy. You're thinking, oh, you know, have I chosen the right lap? Safety car. Everyone goes at the same time. Boring. Kills it. Kills the transition completely. Oh, this is Adam. This is very similar to what Scotty Designs did in Quali. And it's sort of similar, but at least in the way. He gets very, very lucky that he doesn't DNF from this. Lap 62 of 70. Again, hits this weird jutting out bit of barrier here, look. But I think he gets just far enough left that it doesn't rip his wheel off, but it does bounce him off the wall, but somehow doesn't give him any damage. That very easily could have been a DNF. You hit the wall, Adam.
Oi, we are modded, chat.
You hit the wall, mate. You see this big yellow thing? Don't drive into it. Only Adam could blame the wall for hitting him. Oh, hey, Adam. Is he seriously just raided at that time? Unfortunately, Adam, it's not as complimentary as I have been previously on your driving. Oh, very good. Anyway, right. This is Maraki on Grid Jokes. Otherwise called Baltimore Bridge. Now, Maraki called this the Overtake of the week.
Oh my god, what a move!
Sorry, I just fell asleep for a minute there. Jake was adamant. In chat, he was like, in the private Creator Series driver chat, he was like, don't bother, guys. Don't bother. Overtake of the week. It's done. It's done. I've got it. Don't like it was the greatest move we've all ever seen. And like, it's good. I don't know. I was expecting more when he said all that. And this was I didn't realize I picked this up on the broadcast. This was me.
Are we about to see the three-peat happen?
There's only 3 laps to go. I have to, you know, this is it.
Speed in the pits. Don't speed
I've got
in
the win.
Pits. Please don't speed in the pits, Alex.
That was pretty much what was going on in my head, yes.
Race, that's where he sits at the
And
moment.
look how careful I am.
Sees cars in front, diving in front of him, and he very gingerly dives into the pits and makes sure he gives himself as much margin.
Very gingerly. He's not wrong. Don't speed in the pits. Right. And then we've also got Tom, the same lap, just about 10 seconds later. He hasn't won the wets yet. There is only 3 laps left after this. If Tom doesn't enter the pit lane right now, he's disqualified. So he's going to box. And he's got an AI-controlled Raz and Chai in front of him, and Nagera.
Done.
And this is what happens.
Disconnected.
Tyre condition still looking good.
Are you serious? Okay.
His logic is, I thought Razin was entering the pits because he goes left, or Razin's AI, I should say, because he goes a bit left. Even if he was going to the pits, we usually have to try and go round him or something. Where are you going? You're on the racing line still, Tom. You're still turning right, bro. I can't believe this. He literally almost got himself disqualified. And it does give himself a 3-second penalty, which in the end doesn't affect him, but...
GG's, F1 25.
Yeah, blame the game.
Flipping G's.
Nice.
On my birthday.
All the sympathy cards are coming out. Oh, it's my birthday. Oh, it's my birthday. Why is the game being so mean to me, even though it just smashed into the back of a car? Break earlier, Tom. You're an idiot. You almost got that very wrong, but luckily you get away with it because you definitely deserve P2 there. But anyway, should we just treat ourselves to a couple of little clips? Let's just let Ben do the talking.
I think this is, in a weird way, a very legit way to see who's got the best race pace, to be honest. A lot of people running their own race. Who's got the best consistency? Who's got really good strategy, like looking after tires? Whoever wins this race is going to be the most, like, legitimate winner in Creator Series, maybe ever.
Maybe ever? What did we just do? 6 seconds? 6-second penalty. We beat them by 14 at the line. I think Ben said it best, personally.
I think this is, in a weird way, a very legit way to see who's got the best race pace, to be honest. A lot of people running their own race. Whoever wins this race is going to be the most, like, legitimate winner in Creator Series, maybe ever.
No, this always goes very wrong. This always goes very... Lonnie's having some fun here. The race is done. He's P9. He's got 3.6 to Ben in front with a 12-second penalty. He's got 17 to Nagera behind. No penalty. It's done. And for some reason, he decides to give a little Italian kiss to Scotty Designs, who's a lap down. Boop.
Bandiera verde.
Oops.
Siamo di nuovo in gara.
Oops. Pretty certain based on his face that was the highlight of his race. And that is about it. The only other thing is, I have analysed the strategies because clearly there was a bit of a divergence of strategies. Weirdly, the drivers afterwards, some of them were saying that it was a very obvious strategy. It was very obvious what you had to do, so it just gave an advantage to the top guys. The top 4 all had different strategies. I don't know what I'm talking about. Most of the guys who are normally at the sharp end of the grid bottled the strategy. Fine. So obviously I went soft, hard, medium, wet, inter, which was definitely a good strategy. Based on Karim, who did very good laps both on slicks and on wets. They're representative, no DRS, no traffic, no nothing. He lost 6 seconds a lap on wets on a dry track compared to what he did just 2 laps later with a brand new set of mediums. When I did it at the end on inters, I think it was about 2 seconds a lap, inters versus wets, something in that region. So you're talking about a 4-second a lap difference in the strategy over 3 laps. Which, quick maths, that's 12 seconds. Those guys ended up much further back, though, so that wasn't the whole story. Yes, there was that 12-second game, which is big in Creator Series. I think where the rest of that time came from was just being in the pack. Although I literally asked him, I said, like, did you lose? Did you have any big battles or any big mistakes? Obviously, he went off there at the pit exit, which probably cost him a second. But, like, he said, well, no, not really. My race it went well other than that. Like, there was no issues. So I think that was just those 6 seconds, or 5, excluding the pit exit thing. Those 5 seconds were they just added up over the course of the race. Our pace was the same, but he just had little battles here and there. And it doesn't feel like they cost you much at the time across a 70-lap race. But I basically didn't have any battles. And when I did overtake people, it was normally either sitting behind them because they were quicker than me and I was getting DRS, or I was nailing them and getting on with it. I never really had a ding-dong battle at any point in that race. So I think actually it wasn't just the fact of choosing the wets at the end. It was my original idea. The reason I went that strategy in the first place was to stay out of traffic. And I think that was worth 5 seconds at least on its own. So yeah, interesting. Right, anyway, guys, that's it from me. Thank you for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed the Creator Series analysis today. Yeah, do drop a follow or a sub if you haven't already, because we do this every week. You guys seem to really enjoy it. Obviously, not as spicy this week. There wasn't any massively controversial incidents, particularly. The field was a bit more spread out. The drivers have made it pretty clear that they do not want to have safety cars switched off again. Honestly, I'm not against it. Personally, for me, I do prefer safety cars switched off. I like that kind of racing more than I like the cars being artificially mashed together, but I'm in the minority. Pretty much everyone hated that race, so, you know, it is Creator Series. I'm not against safety cars. I do wish that we turn off the purposeful ones. Just get rid of those and it's fine. Leave safety cars switched on, because we'll almost always get one anyway. I would like to still see that. I think that would be a good compromise. So at least reduce the amount we get, reduce the likelihood, and make them less artificial. I think that would be a good change, but we'll see. We'll see. For now, they're coming back from next race, so we've got to master the safety car strategy, which of course has changed for F125. But anyway, guys, catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.